This is Hannibal here back in Canada. And I have to say that I have to do a review on this because it was just bizarre. I heard Dave Meltzer talk about he said it was a bottom of the barrel this Pierce Morgan, Vince McMahon discussion panel. I personally, and by the way, the Red Observer people did not like this. I really did not like it either. I could not make it all the way. I watched it because I have liked some of Pierce Morgan's interviews. This was horrible. This was really horrible. As the experts, they had Maven, who great self promoter, but the fact is he was only actually in the wrestling business for like 4 years, and he's best remembered as the winner of the first Tough Enough along with Nydia. And I didn't even remember his drag on The Undertaker, but I guess that's what other people remember him for. He once kicked The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble. But apparently massive wrestling expert now. To my knowledge, I don't know if he worked he definitely didn't work the indies before. I don't think he did much in the indies after. But he is a successful person and a great self-promoter. They had Vince Russo on. He had worked closely with Vince McMahon. I understand Vince Russo. Jonathan Coachman. He was in WWE a long time. Backstage interview Cheryl Arnault, who I've never heard of before in my life. Some of you may have. I have no recollection of ever seeing her before. And then also had Phil Mushnick on, who is notorious for being anti-WWE years. But the funny thing is, when Mushnick is on this, a lot of stuff he's talking about happened before any of these people ever worked for WWE. And a lot of it is at some point I had to turn it off because it was just getting so stupid. So it was disappointing. I wouldn't recommend anyone to watch this. As at one point, Phil Mush WWE had a pedophilia ring going on. I don't even know if you could say that if there was never any criminal charges filed. One ring boy got a settlement at one point. For what I understand, about $50,000. Phillips was released, but I never heard anything coming out of that officially. I'm not saying like weird stuff did not happen. And there's the whole stuff with Pat Patterson, but it's all very much hearsay because there was never any actual criminal charges filed to my knowledge, and it never went anywhere. So the one thing I can say, even though I admit weird stuff, how can you say that at some point there was a pedophilia ring if there was never anyone actually found guilty of that? That's just hearsay. So I found it weird that he was saying that. And I do find it weird that Pat Patterson was given a pass for his alleged sexual harassment when there's so much documentation of it the years. And the one interesting thing came out of the Don Morocco interview, he alleged that Pat Patterson's his boyfriend, his longtime boyfriend Louis, and Vince McMahon were an unofficial threesome couple. I found that interesting. That's Don Morocco's hearsay. Anyways, guys, I wouldn't recommend anyone watch this Pierce Morgan episode. He's done some interesting interviews. I watched his Jessica interview. His Gene Simmons interview was good. This is unwatchable. And again, like as far as the experts, like I could understand Coachman and being close with Vince McMahon, but the other people, I mean, even the female announcer said she was dealing with Michael Cole. She wasn't even dealing with Vince McMahon directly because she was so low on the total. So why. I guess they just wanted a girl. You know, a better one would have been Mike McGurk, the longtime female announcer for Vince. She would have had a lot more ability. By the way, I just have to say one thing. I met and spent some time with Rita Chatterton. I guess first official incident with Vince was her alleged rape in a limousine when she was the first female official. One thing I just want to compare her to Janelle Grant. Janelle Grant has publicizes everything. It seems like she wants to be news as much as possible, so forth. When I was around Rita Chatterton, she doesn't want to talk about anything. She seems like a sincere person. And I get the vibe from her that something bad did happen to her and it may have her, and she doesn't want to talk about it. I find her credible. Things weird stuff didn't happen with Janelle Grant, but it seemed to go on for an awful time with Janelle Grant, who also had a boyfriend at the time. But all I can say as far as the vibe I got from Rita Chatterton, very nice person, down to sincere, who probably had something traumatic happen to her that disturbed her so much she doesn't want to talk about it. And if there was anything resolved, she's definitely respecting the resolution of whatever happened with her. So thumbs down to this horrible Piers Morgan thing. I hope Vince Russo got a good payday out of it as a friend of his, and I hope he got some publicity out of it. Cheers.